Hey guys, it is Thursday, and I'm out here at the shop wet sanding this truck, and I'm actually done. We started with the finishing discs, the 3M 1500 grits with the Dynabrade DA, 3/32 orbit and an interface pad. That DA right there, and then that interface pad right there with the holes in it, just because I don't like to cross-contaminate. This one I use for dry sanding. You guys have seen me do this before, but for those of you that haven't, I'll show you the discs. Right there. Those are the ones I use dry. You can use them wet, but it takes forever to get them to cut. And these are Merca 2000s. They're a foam size, or a foam pad, and they're just a touch under a 6-inch pad. So you got to kind of be careful with them. I don't know why they're odd size like that, but they're just a little small. Those are the ones I finish up with to take the 1500 grit scratch out. And I go over that a couple of times with that 2000 grit, and then this has just been wiped down with water. But you can see where it's dull, there's no orange peel in it, there's some water specks on it, but that's to get the trash out. Now what I don't do is I don't take the peel out of that little edge there. It's hard to get in there to buff, and you don't really see it, it's in the shadows anyway. But the rest of the side of the truck is going to be flat and smooth, and somebody made a comment the other day that they're pretty impressed how straight I got this bedside, and well buddy, I am too. It came out pretty damn good, but the true test will be to put it out in the sun. You know, doing it inside, you know, it looks weird right here, but it could be the way the light's hitting it too, you know. Don't look bad from this side. There might be a little wee wow in it, but for all the welding that went on this bedside and the other bedside, I'm happy with that. This side's going to be hard to tell because we're in the dark, but it's got a weird light reflection off of it. But I definitely say that it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So we will probably come back after lunch and buff on this and see how it's going to buff up. If it's not buffing up real good, I may let it set another day and come back tomorrow. But that'll be 4 days on it because it was painted Monday. And I cracked it open yesterday with the 1500. So the part that's not so good is the fact that it's cold in here at night. So there's still some solvents escaping from this, for sure. But I'm sort of happy that you know, we had a big dent here that I pulled, and a bigger dent down here that was almost creased in that I pulled, and you know, those turned out pretty good. I'm a little perturbed that I've missed this little guy right here, but I might be able to get that from the backside like I said before, or I may just leave it. You know, the truck is going to get some dents in it, but you know, a lot of comments that I got were, well, I just, you know, leave it, it's a work truck. Yeah, I sort of agree, but I'm the one that drives it, and I really like to have my stuff looking like brand new whenever possible, and if I'm going to take the time to redo it, I'm going to go all the way. I'm not going to stop. If I'd have got a little bit smoother gun finish, I probably would have just denibbed it instead of wet sanding it out, but of course, doing it this way, all the peel's gone, which is better than factory. The Chevys, this truck wasn't too bad from the factory, but my Ford's awful. And I think it's had some work done to it anyway, so that could have just been compounded by more paint work that was done on the truck too. I think a lot of that truck is factory, but not all of it. So we got this, and I may come back later today and paint that gas door. You know, this is as good as it's going to get in here. We'll throw some fluid film all over that stuff. I got the rust out the best I could, and we've covered it back up. That doesn't mean it's stopped, but it is kind of one of those out of sight, out of mind areas, and I'll just keep it oiled up real good. And before, really, there wasn't anything peeking out other than I had a couple chips in it right here that had broken the paint, and it was just starting to get a little bit brown. It wasn't like crusty rust or pitted rust. It was just, you know, changing color on the metal. So I'll get this cleaned up, and then I got to work on getting this bed bolted back up and get the wheels back on it. I'm supposed to have a Chrysler minivan coming. I just don't know when. They wanted to know earlier this week when they could bring it, and I told them today, and I've still yet to hear from them. So I know I'll do the job. It's just a matter of when's it going to get here. I don't know, and that's okay too. They're calling for snow this weekend. Although they've cut it back on us, they were saying 60% chance of snow Friday to Saturday morning, and now it's down to 30%. Few snow showers in the old Weather Channel forecast. So we may have to go salt. We may not have to do anything. But I spent a couple days this week at home doing paperwork, doing my taxes, doing all that stuff that I hate to do every month, putting stuff in the computer for the business and all that. So that's given me time to let this dry up real good and kind of get to a point where I can get it put back together. And we did get a little overspray down on the spring hangers and the springs, but you know, it's going to get oil undercoated, so I'm not sweating it. I did want to keep the overspray off of those rotors and wheel assemblies, because you do see a little bit of that, and of course it would probably wear off. But you know, arguably this is a work truck, but I like them nice. I like people look at them and say, wow, that's a work truck. A lot of people looked at this truck before I pulled it all apart and said, wow, that truck's 12 years old. It looks like a new truck. Well, I don't know that it looked like a new truck if you looked from the door bottoms down. If you would have seen, you know, evidently most people don't notice that kind of thing unless they're shopping for a vehicle. You know, first glance at a vehicle, you can hide a lot of stuff. A lot of people just don't look for it, don't know to look for it, or it just doesn't bother them, you know. And I'm not one of those guys. I like people to look at it and be able to stick their head underneath it and go, wow, this truck is clean, or this car is clean. It's just the way I like to do it, you know, because there's always somebody who can't do the work and is very critical of how you did the work, you know, and there's always plenty of people out there like that. So, all right, well, we'll bring you back if I get a chance to get some more done. Like I said, I have an appointment at noon, so it's 10:30 now, so I'm going to bop back home and have a bite to eat real quick and work on a quote that I got to work on a little bit, and we may get back on this afternoon. And a quick update on the airline situation. Had somebody make mention that I should buy an air dryer. Well, there's a difference. I guess there's two ways to do it. You can have a refrigerated air dryer, and you can hear that hiss in the background. It's this. It's my regulator. The regulator, the diaphragm's weak in it, and it'll hold the pressure, but it always likes to weep just a teeny tiny bit out of that other side of the diaphragm, so I know there's a little bit of a hard spot in it, or maybe even a little dry crack in it or something like that. That regulator was on that air compressor from the day we bought it in 1992 or 91, I forget. So that's old, and so is that water trap's the same age. And let's see if we get anything out of it here. And that was after running the DA for about 8 or 10 cycles of the air compressor. And not seeing anything there, but I would suspect my first place to see water would be out of this first drip leg. And I did get a little bit of moisture out of that, but it's not making it any farther down the line right yet. Painting is a good test, because you gotta airline that's laying on a cold floor. So if there's any vapor getting in it, of course that black one is not my painting hose. That's actually one for running air tools. And if you take a look at this, I actually have a T in it that goes up to the paint filter, which you know, of course down the line I got plenty of room up here. I can put one of those 3-stage filters in it and just use the regular water separator to pick up the water for the air tools. I do lubricate all my air tools with the exception of my sanders. Die grinders I lubricate. I figure if any oil mist is coming out of those, it's going to come out when I'm doing metal work, and that's going to all get cleaned up real good. But the sanders, I don't want any oil in. I did oil the mud hog one time, and when you do that, the mud hog doesn't have a real good explanation of how this works, but inside this cover there's a big chunk of foam, and it exhausts through that foam to sort of muffle it, because there's a lot of air that moves through this bad boy, and that catches any oil right off the rip with that. And I haven't had any problems with it yet, knock on wood. I haven't had it a long time. So alright, this is getting long-winded. You know, that seems to be working good for now, and for $400 to $600 for a 3-stage filter system, I'm going to hold off for right this moment. Don't have the funds to allow for it. So that toilet paper filter has never ever let me down until just recently, and I know it's been cold, and you know, when it gets warm in here, all that heat rises to the ceiling, and that's where the air line is. So it really has a hard time condensing that water out. What I could have done is brought this piping down to the floor where it's cold and put a water trap in it real low, and then brought the airline way back up to get to my filter, and that would help condense it out a little bit quicker, because that floor even in the summertime doesn't get real warm. Anyways, alright, that's it for now, guys. That's 12 minutes. I think I'll upload this one for you, and we'll make a part 2 when I get to the buffing and final polish on this. So we'll see you guys later.